Coming up next on The Voice of Alabama Politics, we're taping from home. Also, the V team takes a look at facts of COVID-19. And some people just aren't taking this disease seriously.
Hi, Barn.
Wake up, goobers. All this and much, much more coming up next on The V. Welcome to The Voice of Alabama Politics, where we tackle the tough issues so you have the hard facts. I'm your host, Bill Britt, and today I'm home with my beautiful wife and partner, Susan.
Hey, how are you?
Good. I mean, we're coming to folks today from beautiful, well, right outside beautiful downtown Etowah.
Yes, we are.
At our family farm, a place we love dearly. We are doing our best to do what everyone should be doing, social distancing, to keep each other safe. Susan, we always start the show with we tackle the tough issues so you have the hard facts. And a lot of hard facts are facing us right now. The numbers are increasing exponentially in the state, and it just keeps getting more and more. But let's go through the numbers as we know them Friday afternoon.
As of Friday afternoon, we're nearing 600 cases. Dr. Harris is saying that about 8 to 9% of those are being hospitalized, and about half of those are on an ICU. Not necessarily on ventilators, but in ICU. The scary thing, the staggering thing is we're increasing these numbers 40 to 50 a day right now. Yeah. And what the reality of that is it's taking so long to first get the tests and then get the results from the test.
Right.
That's why they're stacking up pretty quickly.
And again, this is why we have to social distance, so that we flatten the curve so that our hospitals are not overwhelmed. I mean, currently the hot spots are Jefferson County, Madison County, Mobile County, Tuscaloosa, and Lee County.
Right,
but
right.
Would be easier to list the counties not affected right now.
Initially, it started out in those hot spots, especially Jefferson and Lee, but now there are fewer that don't have the cases, and I think one of the reasons is because these are in the rural areas, they're in the wiregrass, they're in the Black Belt, and those people don't have as much access to the testing right now.
And again, only test if you have the symptoms. Contact your physician. If you don't have one, you call Doc in the Box and tell them what's going on with you.
Also, the PH also has a hotline that you can call.
Right.
And it's listed on their website at the Alabama Department of Health.
Right. One of the things that has been of concern, and we've talked to several people who work in the emergency rooms around the state, and we've heard from doctors and nurses and technicians, and while our ERs are not overrun yet, they are very concerned that they will be overrun and that they will run out of supplies. Masks, we already know, are in short supply. Gloves are in short supply. Just personal protective equipment that doctors and nurses need to keep themselves safe are in short supply. Now, we know that the federal government has made some efforts to get things to us. But the thing is, President Trump has said, for the most part, states are on their own, and Alabama cannot compete with bigger states for big ticket items like ventilators and things like that.
Yes, they can't. And you have to understand now, when we're talking about this PPE equipment for these healthcare providers, it's also so that they don't get COVID-19 and pass it on to other patients that don't have it.
Right.
This is very essential. I mean, at some hospitals right now, they're having to actually reuse, recycle what they're doing. I know they're doing it very cautiously, but it's putting, we've got healthcare workers out there that are working long shifts right now. Most of them are under 40 because they're not having people
Right.
over 50. And so if there's anything we can do to relieve their stress, please help.
Yeah.
Now, and also I know that there are some of you out there that are doing homemade masks for healthcare workers. I appreciate your effort, but they're actually not up to code. They need a respirator and be able to be effective.
Anyway, it's a very trying time for our health care workers. I mean, I spoke with one woman who said, I've dedicated my life to taking care of patients, and I will be here on the front line. Mm-hmm. She said, but I don't feel like we're getting all the backup we need. But we're feeling that throughout the nation. And Alabamians have to come together and think how we can help each other. And that is the encouraging news, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. One of the other things that is going on around here is Governor Ivey announced that while we are not going to shelter in place, as many cities in the state have done, including Birmingham and Tuscaloosa, she has done a statewide list of businesses or entities that should be closed, right, Susan?
She has. We're talking about anything where people are in close proximity, nail salons, barber shops, gyms, theaters, concert venues, anything of that nature. She did mention that gun stores will not be closed. That was a question that was brought out. But anything where you're going to be in close proximity to someone or be touching them, department stores, furniture stores, anything where you're going to be in close proximity, including spas or massage, anything like that, has officially been closed until April 17th.
April 17th. And the interesting thing is, and this is kind of not crazy, but nationwide, the two big selling items are firearms and water. Now, I don't know if people are expecting the taps to go off, but the water's running fine.
Water's
right
running
now.
fine.
But as one guy told us, he said, don't tell my wife that we don't need more firearms because I need to buy more.
Because it's one of his favorite hobbies, and he knows who he is.
And they say if you want to go golfing, as long as you stay 6 feet apart.
State parks are fine.
State parks are open.
Just maintain your distance.
Yeah.
But any playgrounds or anything like that, please, avoid those. And one of the things that Governor Ivey said is if you're going to stay at home, don't invite your friends over.
Yeah.
All right, that's nullified. Don't have a playmate, so if your children over, same thing. That too can spread the infection.
Yeah, this is not, while we might all want to party, this is not the time to party. This is a time to stay in. And you look online, there's a lot of apps where your kids can watch television with their friends if you have broadband. There are some other apps that you can use to connect with your friends, not just watch TV, but play games and do things like that. So it's not totally hopeless. But we're going to get into some more things that are necessary that we all do to stay safe. You're watching the voice of Alabama politics. We'll be right back from outside of beautiful downtown Etowah.
Hey man, what are you doing today?
Playing the game. Thought I'd go out for a drive later maybe. Text some friends while I'm doing it. Scroll through social media. Kill a family 4 and a head on collision.
Cool, man.
Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
A lot can change in 5 years. Except those smile lines you treated with Bellafill. Because that's about how long Bellafill will keep them smooth and filled. 5 years. Now you can always look your best without all those injections, appointments, and costs. Bellafill is the only dermal filler that stimulates and maintains collagen growth long term. Now time is on your side.
Welcome back to the voice of Alabama politics. Susan, we both got all dressed up today.
Well, we kind of got caught at home without any clothes. This is what we look like on the farm, folks.
Yeah, we didn't expect to be here, but just for the peace and safety of all our crew and our loved ones, we decided to self-quarantine.
We did.
Yeah.
We did about a couple of weeks ago, actually.
Yeah, but it's been nice. Of course, we stayed busy. Our team over at APR is just working nonstop.
And y'all that don't have to do anything, enjoy your couch. I mean, these guys have been pumping it out daily to try to keep everybody informed of everything that's
20, 25 stories a day, all day long.
They're on top of
long.
it, and on Saturdays and Sundays too. So, I mean, they haven't given up.
Yeah.
I think Chip's taking four-hour sleep breaks here and there,
Yeah,
but
so
that's about it.
If you want to stay tuned to everything that's COVID virus and stay up to date on that, go to Alabama Political Reporter. That's alreporter.com. Susan, they have closed the schools, all the schools. The year is over. And
Sort of.
Kids are going hallelujah. Mama's going, oh my God. Dads are sitting in the car, waiting for it all to end, right?
Right.
So, but there's not a lot of guidance on how they're going to be educated.
They are going to
at this point.
continue starting back this next, starting right there in April. I forget, it's the April 9th, I think. But anyway, they are going to continue with the school year with the children at home.
Right.
We're not sure. There's telecommuting, of course, for those with internet access.
Right.
With lack of broadband, I'm not sure how that's going to work.
Right.
But I guess we'll see in the next few weeks how it's going to work out.
Senator Clay Schofield sponsored a rural broadband bill. This is a very important bill. Right now we're seeing with the need for telemedicine, the need for schooling, the need for people to carry out their work from home is just not available in certain rural communities. I mean, we didn't get broadband here until just a few years ago.
We didn't.
So it is a problem across the state, and one that the state needs to move quickly to address, if possible.
And it needs to be affordable.
Yeah.
Not all these people that right now that don't have broadband can necessarily afford a expensive broadband bill. So, we need to keep that in mind as well.
Well, and Alabama Power, Spire, Gas, a lot of folks are foregoing payments right now if people can't pay and not charging late fees.
And they're suspending late fees.
Yeah, so that's all good. There was a record joblessness claims this week. More than 40,000 Alabamians make jobless claims in hopes of getting a unemployment check.
Correct.
Governor Ivey has said they're going to make those quickly available, but the lines where you call or where you go on the internet, they just are slammed.
They're slammed. They're absolutely slammed. We've only got so many employees that are handling this. Just please be patient. Keep trying, whether you're trying over the telephone or you're trying over the internet. Just be vigilant and keep trying.
We've been particularly fortunate. Our show and the website is all advertising based. Our advertisers have stayed with us, and we're very thankful for them doing so. But a lot of people have not been as fortunate.
I want to add one thing in on unemployment before we move on.
We're not moving on. But you just jump right in.
I'm sorry. I do that. I'm my wife, right? No, Governor Ivey said in her press conference this last Friday that the legislature, Speaker McCutcheon, has said the legislature is going to look at moving unemployment from 14 weeks back to 26 in this crisis.
I think the federal package addresses a lot of that, and people are going to get checks. But what I was going to say briefly about the jobless rate, if people are fortunate enough, like us, and we're not wealthy folks, but if you're fortunate enough, we have some people that do yard work once in a while, they do housework once in a while, they do handiwork once in a while, and anything we can find for them to do that's outside of the house, if they want to work, we're going to keep them working. We're going to keep paying them. One woman that we know is lost her job in a daycare center, and so right now she's doing things for us that usually don't get done.
And we have people that work for us that do things in the house and whatever. They're not working for us in the house right now, but we're still continuing to pay them because they are going to be in a crisis as well.
Again, we are blessed in the fact that we're not wealthy, but our advertiser says stay faithful, so we haven't seen a dip in our income. But a lot of people will not be that fortunate. One of the things, Susan, that people can do while they're home is fill out your census.
Yep.
You can do it by phone, you can do it on the internet, but filling out the census is very, very important because that's how we get representation in the U.S. Congress, our representatives based on that. That's also how we reapportion, how we draw districting lines.
For voting.
This is for voting purposes. It is also how we get money from the federal government. I mean, the last census that Alabama participated in, we were able to get some $675 billion from the federal government based on our census numbers.
Because these are based on the number of citizens that you have in our area.
And in an emergency situation like this, a lot of resources and things like that are allocated. That's not a dry cough.
It is not a dry cough. It's my allergies. Thank you.
We'll worry about that. Anyway, emergency responses as well. But those are things, Susan, that I think everybody's thinking about right now, but the census is not something that people are thinking about. And it's very important that we get it filled out. Again, you can go to, it's mycensus2020.gov, I think it is. I lost my notes, but that's unusual. But it is important that we get that done. All right, well, that's a little bit more. We'll be right back and take a look at some of the people that are making a difference in a time of crisis.
What a great opportunity for your success. Adding 500,000 highly skilled employees to our workforce by 2025 is how we stay ahead in Alabama. Our economy is stronger than it's been in years, and a skilled workforce is more important than ever. Things move fast, so choose your path. Your success is waiting, plus a great future for Alabama. Success Plus. Go for it.
What are you doing today, babe?
I thought I'd head down to the lake with the guys, do a little fishing. Of course, none of us will be wearing our seatbelts. I'll lose control of the truck, wrap it around a tree, and kill us all.
Okay.
Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
The Energy Institute of Alabama promotes reliable, affordable, and clean energy to help grow our economy, create high-paying jobs, and build public support for Alabama's energy industry. The Energy Institute of Alabama is the best source of energy industry information and how it affects households across the state, from convenient energy production to alternative fuels to solar power and beyond.
Welcome back to the voice of Alabama politics. Susan, the Senate announced that it will be coming back in on Tuesday, March 31st to take care of one thing basically, and that is to postpone the 15th legislative day, that will be the next one, until April 28th.
Correct. They have to do this procedurally because this is the way the rules work in the chambers. There has to be specific procedures taken in order for it not to invalidate the session. So this is one of them. They are, however, going to only be present for roll call. Then they're going to go back to their Senate chambers and stay in there until it's time for a vote. And then I'm not sure how they're going to proceed, but they're taking the 6 foot distance very seriously. There should be no handshaking, only greeting from 6 foot distance. That's it.
Well, that's going to be quite different for a politician to try to do that. But again, they also tell members that are in danger or that are threatened by this virus to stay home. The members that they're looking to get a quorum. There will be an address from Senate President Pro Tem Dale Marsh. There will be one from Majority Leader Greg Reed, and there will be one from Minority Leader Bobby Singleton. But this is primarily a procedural motion. It looks to me, and they could do this, that they will come in and vote on the budgets, the Education Trust Fund budget.
On April 28th.
On April 28th. And again, they can do the general fund budget. This looks to be the plan.
Right.
We don't know for certain if this is the plan. But
that's the only thing they're constitutionally required to do for all of session is to pass those two budgets. So as long as they get those done, then the session can end.
There will be a lot of bills, probably some 1,000 that'll never see the light of day. Some important things that needed to be done that will not be done. But this is the world we live in. We live in a world where there's uncertainty, and so in uncertain times, people have to take measures. And this is, they're doing their job, and that's what they get paid to do, but we hope that none of them get sick.
They can work out all the quirks and the budgets on the phone.
Right.
They don't need to get together in person and do all those dramatics. They can do all that by phone from their own homes.
They have to vote in person, and I don't know about the meetings though. See, they can't have these big meetings without people knowing about it.
This is true. It's going to be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. We'll see how they handle it. There are some heroes of the hour.
There are.
There's some great stories out there. I mean, you see the grocery delivery people that we use a grocery delivery service. They come here. They're very cheerful. They're doing their job. They stay the safe distance away. They leave it on the porch. We see pharmacy deliveries across the state. The pharmacies are staying open. They're working overtime. You know, we've heard from all our pharmacies that they are there, they're open, they're forced. You think about the doctors and the nurses, the fire and the rescue, the EMT and the police officers. These are people that are used to being on the front line.
They are, but they're even more in demand right now, and they're really stepping up and working really hard. Let's not forget, you know, the truck drivers and some of these people that are getting our produce to market. The people that are in the grocery stores that are clerking, or the butcher that's cutting your meat behind the counter. You know, just remember, all these people are working overtime and risking their own lives.
Yeah, the UPS guy has dropped by 3 times this week, and he drops it off of the back porch and goes, "Hi, Mr. Britt. Bye, Mr. Britt. Stay safe." But he's doing his job, and there are millions of hardworking Americans that are out there putting themselves on the line. I mean, think about a custodian in the hospital right now. They're doing their job to keep everyone safe. Not a glorious job, but a needful job. But I did want to remember Jim Edmonds. He has Perdido Vineyards. They make muscadine wine and vinegar from grapes and fruit vinegar and everything. Well, Jim is a former U.S. Marine, if there's such a thing. I don't know if you can ever leave the Marine Corps.
I don't think you ever really do.
But he was a colonel, and he's been fighting all his life. And when he saw this crisis come up, Jim retooled his organization so that they can make hand sanitizer.
He did. They retooled all the way they make wine into being able to make the hand sanitizers so they're safe. And I think he's got, 60+ gallons of it now?
Yeah, there's just one problem. They can produce a lot of hand sanitizers, a lot of gallons of hand sanitizers. What they can't get, jugs.
Milk jugs.
They're sold out of jugs. They can't find enough.
They can't source them anywhere. They're looking for them. So if you guys know of anybody, contact us. And we'll be glad to pass the information on to them.
It's easy enough to find Perdido Vineyards.
That's true.
They're great folks down there, and Jim is a hard-working fellow. But, you know, we've got about 30 seconds, Susan. And one of the things, we're going to have to rebuild Alabama after this is over. It's not going to be the same. The budgets are going to be crushed. There's going to be a lot of things. But what we need is our politicians from the center right and the center left to get together and answer these problems and sideline the left crazies and the right crazies.
The extremity right now has got to go.
No place at the table.
We've got to sit down and work together. I mean, Kay Ivey said this week, What she's calling all of this as we go into it is Together Alabama. Now, when we get out of this, we got to do the same. It's got to
That's
be
right.
Together Alabama.
All right, well, I have a special message for you right after this.
With coronavirus spreading, people at higher risk must take extra precautions. You are at higher risk if you're over 65, or if you have an underlying medical condition like heart disease, chronic lung disease, diabetes, or if your immune system is compromised for any reason. If you're at higher risk, stay 6 feet or 2 arm lengths away from others. Better yet, stay home if you can. The choices you make are critical. Please visit coronavirus.gov for more information.
Doctors and scientists seem to indicate that we are closer to the beginning of the COVID-19 calamity than the middle or the end. But even in times of human crisis, hope isn't dead, but remains a vital thread in the fabric we know as the human spirit. In his 8th State of the Union address in 1941, President Franklin D. Roosevelt said, "We have always held to the hope, the belief, the conviction that there is a better life, a better world beyond the horizon." This is the message that FDR relayed to the people before the nation went to war. Across the nation and here at home, everyone's lives are being disrupted on a daily basis. Worry, doubt, fear is everywhere, as minute by minute bad news rolls in like an Alabama spring deluge. But as Alexander Pope wrote, hope springs eternal. Hope is, of course, the belief that no matter how dark the night, things will get better. For people of faith, it is the belief that through prayer and trust that their future will be protected by God. But hope is also secular and universal and serves as a lighthouse in a stormy sea that reminds us that we will arrive home safely. Governments will fail us. Institutions will fail us. But there is always hope. In Alabama, though separated physically, we should remain together in our fellowship of hope. So for me and Susan and all of us at the V, remain safe, have courage, and most of all, have hope. Thank you for watching the V. You watch us because we watch them.